Hey Barney, how do you use the diminished triads?
Hi everyone, I'm getting my video chops up, so I've got better lights in here and I'm trying to get another camera into it, and God knows if it's going to work. Today's lesson is going to be on the magical, mystical, diminished scale. The diminished scale is an incredible connector of everything, and I remember I was about 22 years old. I was in New York. I had a lesson with the piano player Kevin Hayes. And he said, "Man, do you know the diminished scales?" I said, "Oh, kind of." And he goes, "Learn the diminished scales. That's what you're here for." He said, "They connect everything." And they do. So today I just want to talk about the diminished scale, how to use it, the triads that come off it, and how to abstract it so it doesn't sound like you're just playing a scale or a shape or a lick, but you're morphing the colors of it, looking at it through squinted eyes and just making it bend to your will, or funneling it through what you hear, or using it as a stepping stone to get to something that you hear. So let's check it out. The diminished scale. This is the diminished scale starting on C. It's going to be a semitone, whole tone, or we say half whole, half step, whole step. Diminished scale is this: semitone, tone, semitone, tone, semitone, tone, semitone, tone. Okay, this is the scale. Okay, and then the other diminished is the tone, semitone diminished. Tone, semitone, tone, semitone, tone, semitone, tone. Yeah? Okay, these are the scales. A whole half or a half whole diminished. The diminished scale, you can use it everywhere really, and there's a lot of things that are derived from the diminished scale. Let's think about this. So if we break up the diminished scale into chords, this is one that I found is so we're taking the diminished scale and we're going to make chords out of it that we can use. So we get these chords: C, down in minor thirds, F sharp, A flat, E flat, C. We also get these minor chords: okay, on C7. So if we add the 6 as well, which is also part of the diminished scale, so I'm saying there's the half whole diminished, we can get this chord out of the diminished. Okay? And then we can get this minor chord with the major in it. That's a nice shape. And if we keep going down, we get, this is the next one, A6. Okay? F sharp 6, A minor with the major in it. Okay? E flat 6, F sharp minor with the major in it, and back down to C6. Again, we've got the diminished scale, which is the half whole diminished, and we have derived some triads out of that scale, and they are C6. They're not triads actually, but they're chords. E flat minor, A6, C minor with the major in it, F sharp, A minor, E flat 6, F sharp minor, C M6, okay? And we get this sound. And that's the color that we can use on C7. This sort of tension of all the diminished notes are moving and resolving into C7. No one can really tell me why the diminished works so well over a dominant chord, but it does. And I'm not interested theoretically why it does. I'm just more interested in the way we can use it to make something groovy, okay? So if we learn this bunch of triads and these diminished scales through all the keys with the practice grid, which I'll attach again, this time with the Last Supper superimposed upon it, which is one of my students superimposed the Last Supper on my practice grid, all right? I take that as a compliment. Anyway, so if we practice these diminished scales, all the keys, in F, etc., all through the keys, and really get to know them. There's only 3 of them because they all meet. C, then that's the half hole. The half hole on E flat is the same one. And the one on F sharp is the same. Okay, they're all the same. And a lot of you guys will know about the diminished, okay? But I'm going to show you some things you may not know. Okay, so firstly, we want to practice these triads and these scales, these diminished scales, half and half whole and whole half diminished, all throughout the key, so we really are familiar with them. And you will be amazed at how much the players that you like are employing these diminished scales. I'm talking about players like Herbie Hancock, McCoy Tyner, Chick Corea, Keith Jarrett, the list goes on. Everyone's using the diminished. It's just a fantastic thing. The diminished scale is a really mysterious scale because every triad you derive off the diminished speaks to so many other things. So it's like this, it's like the double diminished that we were looking at. It's just this universal sound, and there's so many ways you can use it. But what I suggest is you just learn the living daylights out of it in every key. And it will start to unfold in beautiful ways for you. So if we look at these shapes, we can start using those things in our soloing as well. Let's talk about how we might employ the diminished scale playing a blues. So maybe we're playing a blues in F. On this dominant going up to the 4 chord, we could go. So I went. And that's the diminished scale. So on the diminished, we can also do a half hole on the B flat. Here we go. That's the half hole diminish off the B flat. We can do that, but we can also think about all these shapes, these triads and chords that come off the diminished scale, that are derived from the notes in the diminished scale. So in F, we have So then we have these shapes, F6, D6, B6, A flat 6, and the minor shapes, F minor with the major in it, D minor with the major in it, B minor, A flat minor, and F minor. And all these colors are going to work in the blues. So let's see if I was just playing an F blues and I wanted to put on the 1 chord, the F chord, so I wanted to use some of these shapes. Let's see. B flat. So I'm going, I've got F, D, B, A flat. I can mess around with those triads on F blues? Yes, beautiful. So you can get loose with it, you know. And then if we talk about C7 is kind of the same as G minor, that means we can use these C diminished scalular things and triadic things and chordal things in G minor for our modal extrapolations and fantasias, okay? So that would mean if we're vamping in G minor, we've got that sound. We are privy to C6. We're in G minor now. But C7 is the same as G minor, so we've got C6, A6 on top of G minor, F sharp 6 on top of G minor, E flat 6 on top of G minor, and back to C6. So it's basically these 6 chords down in minor thirds. And we also have the minors down in minor thirds. So we have C minor over G minor. We have A minor over G minor. We have F sharp minor over G minor. And we have E flat minor over G minor. Okay? So yeah, the important thing. It's a lot of information. I'm going to put some PDFs there on there so you can see what I'm talking about. Here's the most important thing about it that I'm trying to make sure that you remember. We've got all these superimposed triads that come off the diminished that we're going to use, say, in G minor. And I'm going to experiment right now and show you. We want to make sure that no one knows we're using the diminished triads or the shapes or the... We want to mask things. We want to abstract things. It's like when you squint your eyes and you look at a painting, it kind of looks a little bit different. We want to have that, we want to remove ourselves from this pattern sort of sound, from playing licks. But we want to use this new information on our modal playing or whatever, in any context that we're using it, to really be a springboard to what we do here. It's almost like we're going to use these triads as a portal to get to something that we wouldn't usually do. Or the triads, we can see them and we can play them without hearing them, and then we're off to the races and we can abstract them, morph them, and follow what we do here. Or, you know, a kind of 5-1 movement, a normal resolve. In any case, you want to always mask any superimposed things that you do so that it feels more organic, and so you're always inventing yourself. You're not relying on what you've practiced. You're going to invent, like Cecil Taylor says, you know. not discipline. It's like the joy of practice means that you get to invent. I love that. So let's see. If we're talking about G minor, I'm going to just show you what I mean about taking a modal superimposition and abstracting it so you don't know where it's coming from. Let's get the G minor feeling in our ears. Here's the sound of G minor. So I was like outlining this A6 here, whatever, it's like some chromatic stuff, and I'm taking a lot of liberties with this A6 because I'm using it as a end point, so I'm arriving at this superimposed place. Messing around with the E flat. The E flat 6 over the G minor. See, I can approach each note of the E flat 6 if I want, or I can kind of circle around it, and whatever way you want to abstract it. It's just kind of fun to use these shapes as arrival points. So again, it's like a two-step remove thing, where you've got G minor. On top of G minor, you're putting the C7 diminished sounds, and you're abstracting them one bit further away. So let's do it. I'll just play a little bit of it, and you can sort of get an idea. Triads that are derived from the diminished that we're putting on top of G minor, then we can just sort of almost like be playing around with C minor, A minor, F sharp minor, and E flat minor over G minor. What does that sound like? Check it till you wreck it. Check it till you wreck it. So you can use these triads over minor chords or dominant chords anywhere, in a linear way, even as a chordal sort of embellishment. So now I'm going to play a B flat blues using these diminished colors, the diminished triads that come off each dominant chord. So in B flat 7, I'm going to play a blues in B flat 7. on the 1 chord, the B flat 7 chord, I'm going to be playing G6, E6, D flat 6, and B flat 6. And likewise, B flat minor, G minor, E minor, and C sharp minor. All these colors are at my disposal in the B flat, and I'll transpose into the E flat, and even on the F. Another interesting thing that I've checked out with John Coltrane, is that he'll outline very simple triadic sounds, maybe with the 7 chord, even with the 7 in it. So he'll really outline the blues with triads and then jump to some outness, some superimposed thing, some sort of pentatonic thing. So I'm going to do a bit of that, where I'm going to outline in almost like a fairy tale folk-like way, and then switch directly after that. That's a tension and release that I'm going to create. All right, so it's like this. So I'm kind of throwing these colors around, but my original foundation is these diminished superimposed triads, but I'm just morphing them, abstracting them, and making a tension and release by playing triadically and then throwing them in. So these are the kind of things that we can do to shift the paradigm of what is available to our ears. Once we hear it, we can come back in and join the flock.